Welcome to our latest news update. Today we have a range of stories from around the world. First up,
Yevgeny Prigozhin, the boss of the Wagner Group, has announced that he will be pulling fighters out of Bakhmut. Meanwhile,
Ukraine's forces have destroyed Wagner ammunition storage points on the Bakhmut front, according to the Deputy Defense Minister. In the UK, the Conservative Party has suffered a terrible night of local election losses.
While in Greece, the Supreme Court has upheld a ban on a far-right party to protect democracy. In Serbia,
Hundreds of special forces are launching a manhunt for a gunman after a second mass shooting in 2 days. Finally,
the World Health Organization has announced that COVID is no longer a global health emergency. That's all for now. Let's get started.
Russian businessman Yevgeny Prigozhin has reportedly withdrawn his private military company, Wagner, from the front lines in eastern Ukraine.
Prigozhin, who is known as Putin's chef, said in a video that he would transfer positions in the settlement of Bakhmut to units of the defense ministry. He also said he would withdraw the remains of Wagner to logistics camps to lick our wounds.
Wagner has been accused of fighting on behalf of Russian interests in Ukraine, Syria, and other countries.
The group has been linked to the Russian government, although Moscow denies any official involvement. The move comes amid a recent uptick in fighting between Ukrainian forces and Russian-backed separatists in eastern Ukraine. Well, it looks like Yevgeny Prigozhin's plan to pull out of Bakhmut was a little too late, because Ukraine's forces already destroyed their ammunition storage points. Talk about bad timing.
The armed forces of Ukraine have destroyed ammunition storage sites belonging to members of the Wagner private military company on the Bakhmut front.
This information was shared by Hanna Maliar, Ukraine's Deputy Minister of Defense, on Telegram, and during a national joint 24/7 newscast.
Maliar also stated that Russia is attempting to take control of the city of Bakhmut by the 9th of May, bringing in mercenaries from the Wagner PMC from other fronts.
Yevgeny Prigozhin, the founder of the Wagner PMC, recently posted an appeal to the military leadership of Russia, criticizing them for not providing ammunition to the Wagnerites.
Prigozhin later wrote a letter to the Russian Defense Ministry, stating that he would withdraw the remaining fighters of Wagner PMC from Bakhmut after the 10th of May due to a lack of ammunition.
The destruction of the ammunition storage sites is seen as a significant blow to the Wagner PMC's operations in the region. From Ukraine's forces destroying ammunition to the UK Conservatives suffering losses, it seems like destruction is the theme of the day. Maybe they should have invested in some bulletproof policies.
The British Conservative Party, led by Prime Minister Rishi Sunak, is facing negative results in local elections due to scandals, inflation, and economic stagnation.
These council results in England will be the largest test of voter sentiment before the next general election, expected to be held next year. Only a quarter of the 8,000 council seats have been counted so far, with the Conservatives suffering a net loss of 218 seats while Labour and the Liberal Democrats gain seats.
Labour claims to be on track to win the next general election with an 8-point lead over the Conservatives based on these local election results.
Sunak's party lost control of at least 8 councils, with Labour making gains in areas that backed leaving the EU in the 2016 Brexit referendum. A full picture of the state of the parties will not become clear until later on Friday, when most of the councils will announce their results. Well, it seems like the UK Conservatives aren't the only ones having a bad day. The Greek Supreme Court is also saying OPA to the far-right party.
Greece's Supreme Court has disqualified the far-right Hellenes Party from participating in the country's upcoming general election in the interests of safeguarding democracy.
The court stated that the party was clearly the successor of the now-defunct Golden Dawn, whose neo-Nazi leaders are serving jail terms for crimes ranging from murder to assault.
9 out of 10 Supreme Court judges agreed to ban Hellenes, essentially upholding legal amendments voted through the Greek parliament earlier this year. The court cited the leader's criminal conviction, predilection for violence, and embrace of racist and intolerant ideas as reasons for the decision.
The 42-year-old Holocaust denier, a senior Golden Dawn MP, who formed the Hellenes before being jailed in October 2020, has vowed to take the case to the European Court of Human Rights. The move is controversial, with some on the left believing the ban will only strengthen the extremists, and critics recalling the rebound of Golden Dawn in 2013.
Well, it looks like Greece is taking democracy seriously by banning far-right parties. Meanwhile, in Serbia, someone needs to remind the gunman that shooting is not a democratic way to express oneself.
A man suspected of killing at least 8 people in Serbia has been arrested following a massive manhunt, leaving the country reeling from its second mass shooting in just 2 days.
The latest shooting happened late on Thursday night when an attacker opened fire in the village of Dubona, about 60 kilometers, about 37 miles, southeast of the Serbian capital Belgrade, Serbian media reported. More than 600 members of Serbian special forces were deployed to search for the suspect, according to the public broadcaster RTS, with authorities deploying helicopters and thermal imaging cameras.
The suspect, identified by authorities as a 21-year-old male named Uroš B., was arrested on Friday morning. Serbian police confiscated 4 hand grenades from the home where the suspect was hiding, according to RTS. Serbia's President Aleksandar Vučić expressed his condolences to the victims of the 2 attacks and pledged that the government will make urgent changes in weapon legislation.
Among the proposed changes were stricter conditions for people to purchase weapons, doubling fines for people found breaking the law, requiring hunters to go through annual checks, and a national gun buyback program for those who can't fulfill the tougher conditions.
Well, it looks like the Serbian gunman will have to find a new excuse for not wearing a mask, because the World Health Organization just declared COVID is no longer a global health emergency.
The World Health Organization, WHO, has declared that COVID-19 is no longer a global health emergency, marking the symbolic end of the pandemic.
However, WHO Director General Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus warned that COVID-19 is still a global health threat, and the risk of new variants remains.
The pandemic has been on a downward trend for over a year, and most countries have returned to life before COVID-19. The WHO decision to lower its highest level of alert was made after convening an expert group on Thursday.
The declaration may not make a significant difference in countries like the UK, but it could free up healthcare capacity in places with poorly resourced healthcare systems to deal with other major disease threats.
COVID-19 was declared a pandemic on the 11th of March 2020, and there have been over 6 million COVID-related deaths worldwide since then.